Okay, folks, number 3, we found another one. This one doesn't have much in it. It's kind of hard to find because I actually had to come down the hill to find this one. And then had to turn around and come back because you could only see it in one direction. So, and it's right by a terrible little drop off into a garage area. I could break my ankle for real, but if they like the kind of thing like I married a communist, this will work for them real well. We just gonna put that down for a moment. We're gonna slip that right in there. And we're gonna have Robert Reich keep that book company. Philip Roth and Robert Reich. That'll fit right in there. Not that you might like that book better if you're a communist. In fact, if you're a communist, I'm sure you'll hate it. But there are parts of it you might like. Okay, there it is. Number 3, done. Now, before we take this relatively extended walk back to the house, we're going to sit down and talk about what we're going to talk about today on Grown Black Folks Talk. All right, good afternoon, Grown Black Folks Talk, live from DuBose Park on this gorgeous sunny day that I didn't expect. Got basketball courts, playground. We're filming obviously from a distance. One thing you do not do is film other people's children without their permission. Absolutely not. But today I want to continue my thought about density of purpose and add on to it a thought I had this morning about how to train your social media to feed you opportunities instead of being a distraction to your life. And one naturally led to the other. Let's see. That was a nice spot for us to settle this in and let you watch the world go by as we have this conversation. Because this is a considerable longer hike. I went over to find the little free library that's in this area, and it's a considerably longer hike. And way off there in the distance, there is the San Francisco Mint. Hasn't been in operation for a long time, but it is a tourist attraction. Has a considerable walk from my usual length, and no matter how you do it, there's high hills and all the rest involved. So I've got to turn around and go back. But before we do that, I'll talk to y'all here for a little while. Density of purpose. So today, we talked about this concept yesterday of really making every move you make count. I got up this morning quite early because I'm now doing my winter flip. And winter flip time is when I really try to get things done early in the day. We have just had our time change. It's beautiful autumn leaves here. We've just had our time change, and so I'm trying extremely hard. Okay, first thing, try extremely hard not to let the wind be moving this camera back and forth. I apologize, y'all. I'm trying extremely hard to get up, get out, get my exercise done, get back to the house, and not be waiting around because the light leaves really quickly. And given everything that's going on in the world, as a woman alone, most of the time, it's not something that you tempt at a time in history like this. So that means this is lunch hour, and I had to come all the way back up to the top of this hill to find a seat because, as usual, the crowd gathers at the bottom where everybody wants to be. But to really enjoy the best view here, you have to come all the way back to the top. That's a whole nother subject. Density of purpose. So it's a beautiful sunny day. I wanted to get out and get my exercise done. I wanted to see if I could reach the little free library that's at the very edge of my walking range going this way. Done. I had time to listen to some motivational speaking. Tony Gaskins was doing a video, I think it was yesterday or the day before, separation before elevation. So that was to feed my brain, and so I took care of my body. But before that, I had time to talk with the Lord and pray and thank Him for the many, many blessings that He's given me, and that is part of what leads to this conversation we're going to have today. I need to give Tony Gaskins some credit because, again, he teaches this in a different way than I do. But he talks about brain, brand, and body, the 3 B's. I'm going to add a 4th B for what I was doing today. Giving thanks and praise and communicating with the blessor, God, that's B1. And then working on my brain, my body, and my brand, getting my book into another place where it can be read, and also making content for my YouTube channel. So I'm doing 4 B's. But that led me to another thing. My Facebook was the means by which God served me up two wonderful blessings that I was not expecting. And one of them came through and I wasn't expecting it. And then I said, well, okay, it's for writers. And then I said, well, okay, I'm a serial writer. It would be lovely if there was something like this for people who write serials. Would you believe it came through in the next 15 minutes? Facebook literally served me those two ads within 20 minutes. I checked it out. I've already applied to one of them. And I just have to go through my stacks to find out if I can apply to the other one. Because I have several things that fit in their range. The Lord literally just dropped them on my Facebook page. Literally, that's what happened. So as I was thinking about this, I thought back about how do we do the steps to get social media to be a good tool for us. How do you get your social media to bless you, which is going to be the title of this particular video, with the understanding, of course, that it's God that does the blessing. From, as a Christian, I have to look at it that way, but using this tool that so often is used for evil. How do you do this training? So I'm going to make this short because it's something you can hear, but it's something you have to really decide to do. Without getting technical, Facebook, YouTube, all your big social media, eventually what it does is it looks at what you're commenting on, what you're viewing, and it serves you more of it, and it serves you ads in relation to that, so that over time you can train it to serve you only what you want and not what you don't want. It really is that simple. Now, this doesn't make Facebook any better. It doesn't make the big three media companies that, Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, Pinterest, I guess that's four. It doesn't make them any better. I'm just saying they're tools to be used, and you can train them to serve you a blessing as opposed to keeping your life in a mess. So basically, the reason this video doesn't have to be long is because this is a process that you have to choose to take. I wake up every morning and Facebook will serve me in 2 weeks things that I'm interested in seeing and learning. YouTube will also. But I have to tell you about the process that this happened, because social media can be as damaging to me as to anyone. I'm no better than anyone else. And I tell people this all the time. I don't do the things I do that are different from other people because I'm better. It's because I'm just as bad as anybody else, and unless I take care of myself, I will behave just as badly. So since I know I'm not better, and I have certain weaknesses that other people do not have, just like everybody does, I have to really attend to myself. And in attending to myself, that comes with the recognition that I have to be careful about how I use my social media and what information I take in. And so I did a video called Discernment, learning what's bad, what's good, and what's good for you, and making good decisions. The Lord and I had to go through this conversation about my social media habits over the past several years. I am a Christian, and I'm a church girl, so there's certain things that I wouldn't watch anyway. The chances of me watching what most people think of as bad are very small. But there's still what's good and what's good for you, and then what's bad and what's bad for you. Now, the other thing is human beings do need a certain amount of recreation and entertainment. The easiest form of information and the easiest form of recreation being sold to black people through social media is learning how to ridicule and dehumanize one another. I'm going to say that again in case that beautiful train, that light rail train is passing by right now over there, kept you from hearing it. I don't know if you can see that through the trees, but in case you missed that, let me say this again. The easiest form of entertainment that's being served to black folks is to show us how to dehumanize and ridicule one another and to laugh at that. And it creeps up in strange ways. Now, a lot of things happen. Like, I enjoy watching street basketball. Not that I'll ever play it. At this time of life and with the injuries I've sustained, even if I lost a great deal of weight by age 50, this would not be something that I would take up with my fellow middle-agers. Risk is too high. But I enjoy watching people into their 40s and 50s recovering from injuries. And there was one content creator in particular, Bone Collector. he's at least my age or older, and he's still just out here doing it. And what I love about him is he doesn't do a lot of commentary. He just does the darn thing. And he shows you that ways that he keeps his body in shape and recovers from injury. So I appreciate that about him. He's been doing street basketball for 20 years or so. So he's about my age, maybe a little older, maybe a little younger. I enjoy him, but I had to leave that whole sector alone because there's so much reacting to each other's games and so much commentary that leads down that road of getting used to the idea of making a fool out of yourself for clicks and views, and learning how to ridicule and make fun of and demean one another for clicks and views. It's very subtle. So I had to let that go. Every now and again, I'll watch perhaps Bone Collector when he works with Spice Adams, who I do still watch. Retired athlete, just hilarious stuff, clean comedy. I'll sometimes watch them when they are together because they are absolutely hilarious. I will watch Bone Collector on occasion, but I don't even do that because I don't want to be tempted, because that's not right for me. I know that it's a backdoor to that idea that we do as black people, that the most fun thing to do is to eat fools out of ourselves for views and to learn how to demean one another. So the Spirit of God said, nope, you got to let that go. I will take care of your needs for recreation and entertainment and a number of other things. That's just one example. So that's just one example. Once you stop listening to certain things and tell YouTube you're no longer interested in that channel, YouTube will try to find something else to serve you. Over time, you will eliminate the things you don't want to see, and it will eventually serve you things that are more to your interest. My YouTube viewing teaches me so much, entertains me so much. My Facebook, same thing. Started blocking people and letting things go, and over time, it served me things that are to my interests, that help me grow, that help me entertain myself in a holy but thorough way. You know, there's so much good content on YouTube and Facebook to enjoy. I'm not on Instagram, but I know that it's out there too. But it's a process. You can train your social media, but you have to be disciplined in avoiding that which is not good. And Facebook and YouTube will respond. And this is why Facebook and YouTube daily serve me information that is valuable to me, that I can learn from, that I can do things with. And how I found my niche as a content creator on YouTube eventually. There's a lot of calm, peaceful, thoughtful content. And that means there's a space for me on YouTube too. By the way, thank you to my new subscribers who I assume are looking on the same course that I am of disconnecting from foolishness and working on content that actually will help us grow and learn and elevate. All right. Y'all have a good day. It's going to be a storm later. The clouds are coming in, and I've got to start my hike back to the house. So, one more parting view of beautiful DuBose Park. And the train coming up the hill past the playground. And I'm going to go try to find the least painful way to get up the hills I have to get up. We're going to close with these beautiful autumn trees. I'm going to try to find the least painful way that I can to get up the hills going back to my home. Up and over. All right. Y'all have a beautiful day, and thank you for watching.